Hi folks, well I've rearranged my painting area. That's my old board that rests on a table, a makeshift table that I've screwed into the back of, with a wing nut, into my radial easel. You can just about see the feet down here of it. Had it for years. It was a school, well it was a new one, bought for an art teacher, or an art teacher bought it for me on behalf of the school. And it was only about £30, I'm talking about 35 years ago. I don't use it very often because it's quite cumbersome, but it's very useful. And I've been flitting between mostly my box easel and the Frank Herring easel, which is a tubular steel one. Very, very good. But I like to work on my acrylics sort of upright, or more or less upright. So what I've done with my watercolour board, I've put a couple of pins, veneer pins, move that over there a bit, into the back of it, and I just propped it up onto the board holder. It's not quite right. And it works quite well. I can easily take that off. It just slides in. I've cut some notches in the back of it. It's just a bit of an old wardrobe side, bit of plywood. And I've used it for years. You can see I even use it, put paint on. I use it as a palette, but I haven't been quite so clean with it over the years, but it's donkey's years old. But this way I can use the studio easel and I can use the watercolour board at about 20-degree angle. So it's almost ideal, but what I'm going to get a friend to make me out of a couple of planks about that long, 30-degree angle on a base, so that I can prop this board up on it, because it's a bit tricky trying to reclip with the pins at the corner of the board, but not impossible. I've got plenty of space to the left here. Got about 15 inches, 30 centimetres say, of working space. I put my brushes on a bit there. My water pot is on a pull-out thin drawer in my big office desk, on some cloth, so I can got easy access to my water. I've got my laptop on my left, because the top I use for this table on the right is like a movable dumbwaiter thing with wheels, and I use an old bit of thick melamine covered kitchen sort of sides, and I've moved that to my carpentry horse on my left, and it's got a nice big table now there. It's probably about 3 foot by 18 inches, 90 centimetres by 45 centimetres, something like that. So it's a nice table on my left, laptop's on it, very sturdy. What's left of my cup of tea, a password book for what it's worth for the old laptop which I've got here. I'm using my if you see your comments on YouTube duplicated, it's probably because it hasn't synced with my new Microsoft Lappy. It's a very nice, very compact Hewlett Packard. I can move that up a little bit. Right, so let's make something up here. I've got my watercolours, the usual. I'll watch it with some raw sienna to start with. Let's just get some on there. It just gives a nice warm background for clouds and anything else. Unity. You don't have to do this. You can put whatever colours you like on it. You can put it on afterwards. But I like to wet my paper as I go and then reclip it. And so we put a bit of sky. Let's try a bit of blue. quite strong at the top. But this is only Cotman colour, so it's not saturated as it would be if it was artist quality, but they're expensive artist quality, and for demonstrating this is fine. It's always served me well in the 30 odd years I've been using it. So this is on the Saunders rough. Oops. Put a bit of water in this one. Oh, you can get movement in your sky by the direction of the clouds. It's quite cloudy today, but the sun. We're promised 50 miles an hour winds tomorrow now, which is not a good idea because it's our 50th wedding anniversary and we're doing it in the house and the garden. It's going to be a bit cramped for 50 people. But I've got a gazebo up about 3 metres square. At the base it's probably about 4 metres square. A couple of tables in there, and if it's not raining it'll be fine. But if it's raining, God, we're going to be like sardines in a can. But I think the gazebo will be okay in the wind because it hasn't got sides to it. The wind will just blow straight through it, and it's well anchored with some guy lines and stuff. Okay, I'm going to dry that now. Oh, it's going to be a reclip. Oh, got 2 sheets there. Oh no, can't do that. Oh dear, it's so thin. Even with 2 sheets, it's thin. No. But it's lovely paper. It's Saunders Waterford rough, and absolutely superb paper. Right, that will do. Let's just put those top ones on there. It will stay more or less perfectly flat. So if we clip, put it tight down here. Then I'll dry it, shrink it a bit. So you don't need to stretch your paper, shrink your paper. But if you can of course you can do what you like, your paper. But this does work, and it saves the rigmarole of taping paper to a board and waiting for it to dry. I'm going to wait for that to dry with a hairdryer. So here we go. Okay, that's that bit of drying. Now look, that's low above the bottom because that's curling a little bit, but that's perfectly flat. Wonderful. Well, almost. That will be now. When you're drying this rough paper, because it's such good quality, you don't need to dry it all. You can just dry the centre bit where you're going to do your background. Now, what sort of subject shall we have? I'm tempted to do a bit of a lake scene. I love doing lakes. And my last 2 or 3 haven't been wet. So the water is reflected. It reflects the sky. So now my favourite colour for a background is blue and Payne's grey. So cool colour. So let's talking on talk radio about a scam, an email scam with that sort of American or Afghani soldiers pretending to want you to launder their money. An absolute scam, and someone's got it. I'm getting we all get loads of those. Right, burnt sienna. Now for the dark colour, burnt sienna and ultramarine, but only in Cotman or the artist Winsor & Newton, you can get a really good rich dark. But you have to go on a bit thicker with the paint when you're painting wet in wet, as we are. Otherwise it'll just bleed into the background. Now this is all gooey. It's interesting, have you had those sort of emails? I'm sure we all get them. I mean, I can't believe people would be so daft, other than a novice with a computer, which would have been me 10 years ago. I would have clicked on anything because I didn't know that there were scammers about. Gonna have a bit of green in that, a bit of yellow, a bit of Payne's grey. I would recommend getting both hakes, the medium. This is a medium, and the large Ron Ransom hakes. They are superb. And using the corner now, I'll say this again. If you're struggling with your hake, it could be that you're using too much pressure. You can see I'm just flitting around with this with just very delicate light strokes. And that dark paint I can superimpose some gouache for sails, just the hint of sails. So let's get some burnt umber. Good, nice and soft. Burnt umber doesn't seem to be a very saturated colour, but it's good for beaches and stuff like. Try and leave a bit of a margin there. Bit of Payne's grey in there. Got a bit of raw sienna there. Right, so we can put in some stuff on top of that and we can have a bit of a break here. Sort of marshy stuff here. This is just an underpainting here, this bit. I can put some detail in when it dries off a bit with a rigger and the reflections. Now it's quite difficult to lift out with this paper. See how dark that is? Well, it would be because it's Payne's grey, isn't it? Payne's grey and burnt sienna. No, too wet. There, I'll go to the other side now and do something there. It's a bit of green. Add some different sort of colours in all this, otherwise it'll go a bit monotonous. You don't have to justify, just put them in. Have a bit of blue. So here we go, we're going to need grassy bits in here. This is where I'll detail. Right, now some good dark now. Good rich green. Right, I'll give that a dry. I'll see if someone's got my tray. Hairdryer. I think I need to fill one side in now, otherwise I'm almost repeating myself. So let's get some dark green. Right, clean the brush. And do some wriggle work now. It's quite hard doing it on rough paper. Now, I know it's only £90, but my goodness me, it certainly packs a punch. It's a beautiful paper. Saunders Wolford, it's not the cheapest. The cheapest we had a year or so ago was the Winsor and Newton rough or medium, £90 that Ken Bromley got hold of and was flogging it for about £5-6 a pack. This is £11 or £12 a pack. So look, just what you put up, put down, and it all says wet. We can, well, I'll put a bit of foliage on the far shore. Yeah. Right, now we'll dry that off and start to put in some bushes and stuff. Don't talk too soon, Dave, but I haven't had any complaints about the camera for a long time now, since I bought this one off eBay for £80. Hard to use, a lovely camera. It's a Canon leg rear, but it records in MP4 or MP4, yeah, MP4, which is suitable for Windows. Whereas before, up until then, the other Canon leg rear was MOV, and that I had to compress into MP4. But this one, I'm only using it on automatic, so very pleased with it. I often discuss cameras with and laptops with Alan Owen, my old mate. Alright, let's go coming up from here. Don't forget to put branches going off the page as well. Right, let's put in a bit of autumny colour there, because we're in autumn now, aren't we? Too much water. Right, that'll do. I'll just try that and put a few rigger strokes on the top there, which would be easier than using the hake. Then I'll put some white on there just to highlight some of that. That's just. not really happy with that, so what I'm going to do is dry the hake, well, get most of the moisture out of it, and put some leaves on, dip into the sienna. You do this, just do it a bit round and move the hake around so it doesn't make a pattern. Yeah, that'll do. Oh, we can do a little bit of a bit of detail over that. Right, bird. Then I'm going to do a repair to the oily one. I call them oily ones. With the lifting out of the tissue, I scratched it at the top. The one I called Beddington, or the old oak. And that was careless. So I'm sort of busy just sort of trying to repair it anyway. Right, I'll sign it. Let's sign it with some gouache. No, I won't. I'll sign it with some black blob. Right, that'll do. I don't really want to put it, I should really put a bit of dry brush over that on the water to show a bit of wind ruffling. Okay, that'll do, no more than that. I'll put it in a mount and we'll have a look at it. I'll just lift that, put it up a bit further. Up to there. Now I'll put this large one on. See what we've got. Oh, I've got to sign it, yeah, haven't I? Right, got a pen here. Pretty well show. Right, well there we are. Another one bites of dust. I'll just lift that up a bit higher. There we are. That'll do. That's as straight as I can get it. I hope you enjoyed that. All very simple, but don't forget, don't put so much pressure on your hake. Feather light, just touches. And provided you've got enough water in the background and water on the brush, just enough, you'll get all these lovely effects. And as you come to the foreground, warmer, more of the siennas, the umbers. Oh, I was going to put a little bit of highlight on that, wasn't I? Let's see if I can do that. Just a few little touches, just helps it along. Okay, I'll see you soon. Bye bye.